Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of selections from Aeschylus's Prometheus Bound. And I got up last time to this line here, 238. So this is a long speech of Prometheus, firstly to the chorus, who've asked him to outline how he ended up in this terrible situation. So he begins this next section, hopos takista ton patroion es thronon kathedzet. So this use of takista was kind of seen as before back in line 199. The hopos takista means something like when at first. It's sort of so that at first, literally. So when at first kathedzeto, he sat. It's imperfect, but we'll take it as a simple past. So he sat upon the ancestral throne. This, of course, is use. Euthos immediately, geme, he distributes. So historic present here for Nemo. So he distributes privileges to the divinities. Aloisi alla. So this is the standard idiom in Greek, one thing to one and another to another, literally other things to other divinities. Kai dias stoikizdato arcan. Now the verb here means to arrange or to organize. So and it's imperfect. So he began to arrange or to organize his arcane, his rule. Broton de ton teleporon logon ugeskin uden. Al aistosas genos topan ekreisden alophytuson neon. So literally he had no word. So he did not have any word. Greek does the double negative. It doesn't cancel in Greek, but does in English. So he did not make any mention. He did not have any word for wretched mortals. So he paid no attention to wretched mortals. But now the word order here is slightly odd. But he wished ekreisden aistosas genos topan. Now this is aistoto is the verb. It means to obliterate, to make invisible is, I think, the roots behind this, the alpha privative. So, but he wished, having completely destroyed the race completely, and then there's the topan, completely. So he wished, having destroyed the race completely, that is the race of men, phytusai, literally to grow, so to produce, allo neon, another new one. Kai toisin udes antibine plain emu, and nobody. So antibino here is to stand against. So nobody was standing against him. It's an imperfect. Toisin, probably after the anti here, and it's referring to these, it's just vague here, these plans of Zeus. So nobody opposed these things, these plans of Zeus, plain emu, except for me. So I was the only one who stood up to him in this plan to destroy the human race. Ego de hotolmes ex elusamen brotus tome diarais tentas es haidu molein. And I, now this looks to me like it's it's not a genitive, it's a probably a nominative, first declension masculine noun. I, the daring one, I released. So it's ek luo, and it's in the middle. Luomai in the middle can mean to ransom, so it's got this idea of ransoming, but which you could translate it that way. So I saved, I the daring one, rescued, perhaps might be good for this, rescued mortals, so as them not, this is from dia reisto, to smash, and the dia is very emphatic here, meaning utterly destroyed, lest utterly destroyed, or so that they might not, having been utterly destroyed, mollain, this is the infinitive from blosko. I think we've come across this in this work yet. There's a verb blosko, and it's got a, you should learn the principal parts, molumai, emolon, membloka are the principal parts. So the aorist is emolon, and the stem is mol, and this is a strong aorist infinitive. Blosko is one of those many words of going. Now, of course, ace doesn't take a genitive, so you've got to supply oikon, as usual in Greek, into the house of Hades. So I, the daring one, I rescued mortals, lest, having been utterly destroyed, they might go into the house of Hades. Toi toiasti, and then the main verb here is camptomai. So the toi is probably something like therefore here, and we're not actually told how Zeus planned to do all this, planned to destroy the race of men. In some other myths it was via having a flood and so on, but we don't get the detail here. So therefore, so the toi is something like, well, sorry, the toi is something like therefore, and the toi is a kind of ethic dative, which you can't really translate. So therefore, so because of this, then, camptomai, I am bent with such pains or such tortures. Pascain men ol genai sin oistrai sin de idain. This is a lovely line in terms of its structure. We've got a nice men and de, and we've got a lovely chiasmus where we've got the two infinitives beginning and end, and then the datives in the middle. So they've swapped the order. It's a lovely line there, not necessarily easy to translate either. So it's something like, so I am bent to suffer these pains, or to suffer with pains, literally, and the idain means to behold, to see, for others to see, and the oik trisin, well, with piteous things. So we get two feminines here, and there must be, these are agreeing back with the paimanaisi in the previous line. So pains which are grievous to suffer, and pains which are pitiful, idain to see. Lovely construction there with this lovely chiasmus, very cleverly constructed line. Theatus den oiktoi prothemenos to kain uk axiothane autos. So prothemenos from protithemi. So I having placed mortals, well, the pro perhaps is something like perhaps ahead of myself in pity. I myself was not deemed worthy, this is a passive here from axioo, I myself was not deemed worthy, to Cain, infinitive from tunkano, to meet with this, that is, to meet with pity, or with, with pity from oiktos here. So although I put mortals ahead of myself in terms of pity, having pity on them, I myself was not deemed worthy to meet with this pity. Alaneleos, now this is this ne plus the elios root, pitiless. And the main verb here is eruthizmai. This is I was brought to order. We get our word rhythm from this. I was brought to order, I think is generally translated. It's a perfect passive. So in this way, i.e. by being crucified, I was brought to order cruelly. Thea, notice the accent here. The with the accent on the end means goddess, but Thea is a spectacle. It's connected with theaomai. So a spectacle which brings no glory, dus kleos, to Zeus, which brings no honour to Zeus. The chorus then respond. Sidophrain te kak petros argasmenos hostis Prometheus soisiu sunaklai mokthois. So this is from Sidaros, iron-minded. So with a mind of iron and wrought. This is from that ergasdomai, having been wrought. This is a perfect passive participle. So with a mind of iron and wrought from the rocks, wrought from rock, made from stone, we might say, O Prometheus, is hostis whoever, sun askala. This is from sun askalao. It's an alpha contract verb. Again, we've got iota adscript here. Who does not grieve with your mokthois, with your labours, with your problems, with your difficulties. Ego ga, for I. Now we get an ute here. For neither would I. Ekreiston, from kreisdo, neither would I wish, with the an, so for neither would I wish to look upon these things, and, or perhaps almost but having looked upon them, so I wouldn't choose to look upon your terrible situation, but now that I have looked upon them, al gunthe and kia, this is from alguno, I am pained in respect of my kia, of my heart. So I am pained in my heart. And Prometheus now replies, Akaimen philois elenos es horein ego. And indeed, I understand am piteous to my friends, and then we get an epexegetic infinitive for looking upon. So to look upon. So I am indeed a sight of pity for my friends to look upon. Me pu ti prubes tondi tu praetero, asks the chorus. Now we get, it's a question with may, so they're sort of expecting the answer no, but the answer is yes, in fact. So surely, now just notice the accents here. The ti is enclitic. That's the indefinite tit. It's put its accent back on pu, which is also enclitic, and so its accent goes back on the may. So these are both indefinites here. So surely, in some way, you did not transgress. So this is from pro bino, literally to step forward. So pro bino often has that sense of transgress. Even further than these things. So we get a genitive of comparison after the paratero here. Surely you did not in any way transgress even further than these things. The neotois ge epausame prosdukesthai moron. And when you've got a get after a question, it generally has the sense of yes. Well, yes, I did. I caused mortals to cease, and then after verbs of ceasing you often get a may, which you translate in English as from. So I caused mortals to cease from produrkesthai, from produrkamai, to see their moron, their doom, in advance. So for foreseeing their own death. So yes, I did. I caused mortals to cease from foreseeing their own doom. To poion huron tes dipharmakon nosu, having discovered or having invented, from heurisco, top poion goes with pharmakon, having invented what sort of drug from this disease that prevents this disease. Nosos is of course feminine noun, and hence tasty here goes with the nosu. So you invented what sort of drug, what sort of cure, perhaps might be better here for pharmakon, what sort of cure for this disease, for this illness of being able to foretell your own death. Tuflas en autois elpidas kat oikissa. Yeah, this is from Cat Oikisdo. So I founded blind faith, or blind hopes among them. So I gave them blind hope here, is the sense of it. The traditional story of Pandora and Pandora's box and so on is in Hesiod. So I established among them, might be good, I established among them blind hopes. Meg ophele matut edoreso brotois. This is a slightly amusing line here. Now this is from Dorio, and this is the second person middle aorist. So it looks like it might be a future, but it's got an augment. So it's from Dorio. It's the second person aorist middle from Dorio. So you gave to mortals this as a great boon, as a very useful thing. That is, that they had just blind hope. Prostois de mentoi pur ego spin opasa. And in addition to these things, however, now this is from opasdo, another verb of giving. I gave fire, spin for spici, to them. Kai nun flogopin pur ecus ephemeroi, and it's a question. And so now, do ephemeral ones, do mortals, those that last for a day, do they have flog open, flame-eyed fire? So do mortals now have flame-eyed fire? And notice again we've got a question, and there's the get, meaning yes. Yes, from which ek mathesontai, they will learn, and the ek makes it thoroughly, they will thoroughly learn many technas, many technical skills, or just many skills perhaps. Toiois dide sepsius ep aiti as amasin. And so the chorus, notice there's no full stop at the end of here because it's sticomithia, so the chorus doesn't finish their line here. It gets interrupted by Prometheus. And so for such, misdemeanors, itiama, for such transgressions, for such misdemeanors, Zeus has in fact you, and then they don't get to finish their line. Prometheus breaks in and says, oikizdatai get, so yes. So this is just affirming the previous, what he thinks they're going to say in the previous line. He treats me shamefully, and this is from Kai Udame, and he will not, and in no way, this is from kalao, to slacken, or to perhaps give respite from my troubles. So Prometheus finishes off their sentence. So they say, is it for these, in regard to these sins, that Zeus has understood, treated you badly, but the treat you badly is coming by Prometheus. He treats me badly, and in no way does he give respite from my troubles. Uden estin athlu termasoi prokaimenon. Another question. Is there not a prokaimenon, from a participle from prokaimai, a laid down termination for you from your ordeal? So is there no appointed end for you from your ordeal? Uk alog ge. Now the ge here is probably not affirmative. There is no other. There is nothing else except when it might seem good. To add script again. This is a subjunctive. It might seem good, ekano for ekano, to that one, so to him, to Zeus. So he says here, there is none except when it might seem good to Zeus. The chorus then have another one of these 4-line speeches, which we've seen before and we'll see again, which round off a section. They either introduce or round off a section. And we've got this 4-line thing here. So doxe depos tis elpis uk hores hoti hemates hos de hamates ud emoi legain, and it goes on to the next page. So and so he says that there's no way around this except when it seems good to him. And the chorus says, and how will it seem good to him, future from Docio, how will it seem good to him? What hope is there? Do you not see that you sinned, from Hamatano, that you have sinned, uti emoi legain, and the next page says, kath hedomen, so nor is it possible for me to say or to speak this in pleasure, so I get no pleasure from saying this, and it is algos, a pain to you. Alatautamen methomen athlu de eklusinse tetina. But, now we've got a men and a det here. Methomen is for methiami. This is a hortatory subjunctive. Literally, let us let loose these things. So let us drop this subject. Let us change tack. But sete is an imperative from seteo. You can see that you get an and that's why the accent's here. But seek some eklusin, some way out, athlu, of your trial, of your trouble, of your ordeal. I think it's probably the best for that one there. So let us drop the subject, let us lay aside these things, but seek some way out of your ordeal. And that's the next section of the Prometheus Bound.